Hey folks, welcome to the show. One of my favorite things about hockey is that you could have two teams play each other and there's 11 goals in that game, and then they can play each other like a week later and there's only 3 goals in that game. That's what happened for Edmonton and Boston this year. The first game of the year they met a week ago about, and that game required overtime after they were tied at 5 and Boston won in overtime 6-5. This game required overtime as well after each team could only muster up 1 goal. And you probably already know the victor. And we'll get to that, but let's start in the first period, as always, because that's how the game works. The first game period, both teams are able to get some shots on early. And like the previous games, both goalies are able to make some notable saves early. And Skinner and Allmark had quite good games today. Eventually, Boston gets a power play. Dylan Holloway is sent to the box for hooking with just under 3 minutes left in the first period. And that power play killed. And the first period ends with 9 shots apiece. Okay, second period. Let's see if we can get some scoring. And it's early in the first or second period. Just past the 2 minute mark, Boston gets another power play. Derek Ryan, one of Edmonton's better penalty killers, is sent to the box for tripping. Here's another chance for Boston, and that power play is killed. And a minute after that's killed, Edmonton gets their chance. Bachfist is sent to the box for high sticking, and that power play is also killed. And the rest of the period goes away as the first period went, scoreless, with both goalies making some notable saves. I don't remember exactly when Skinner made a diving save that was posted on social media. Allmark had some really good saves too that I don't think made it to social media, but there were some very notable ones as well. Second period ended with the shots 12-8 for Boston. Third period, it begins and it seems like much of the same way. Both defenses are doing very well, and when they do make mistakes, the goalies just step up. But eventually, one goalie makes a mistake, though it's not so much as him. The Edmonton team, they get caught in transitions because sometimes what they do is they'll have a defenseman activate as they're transitioning, so it's kind of more of a 3-1-1 instead of the 3-2. And as Ekholm's trying to advance, I think it was Draisaitl's pass was a bit behind, and which isn't normal for him if that was him. But either way, it results in a turnover. Boston gets it, and Heinen and Wotherspoon assist on Pavel Zacha's 15th goal of the year, and it makes it a 1-0 game early in the third, just past the 4-minute mark in the third period. And all of a sudden, the tone of the game has changed. Edmonton starts to pick it up a bit, and Skinner's pretty frustrated with himself, which is good. Even though it wasn't all his fault, Pavel Zacha had all the time in the world to pick his shot, and he used it as a slap shot. It was a good shot. Skinner didn't have a lot of time or he had lots of time, which is a problem. Zacha also had lots of time, but so Skinner didn't really have too much help there. But still, a goalie should be able to make those saves here and there. And he was, so I'm not pinning it on him. But he was mad with himself, which is good, is what I'm saying. And anyways, that'd be the only goal he lets in during that period. And Edmonton is doing their best to bring it back. If Boston gets any chances, they hardly get any chances during the rest of the period. And if they do, Skinner stones them. Eventually, nearly 8 seconds from the 15 mark, Edmonton is on the power play. It was kind of a weak call on Frederick for holding on McDavid. There are so many calls that should happen with McDavid. Like, I'll see McDavid get slashed, hooked, and there's just obvious calls that aren't called. But these super soft ones are. It's weird. I'm not going to blame reffing. I'm not blaming reffing here. It's just weird. Reffing is a different topic that I've alluded to before. Probably more of an off-season video idea, since I got enough video ideas content with the season and the trade deadline upon us. Anyways, so Edmonton has a power play 5 minutes left in the game. This is their chance to tie it, and that power play is killed, just like the other three. And Boston fans are very loud and proud about that. They feel like that's a huge win, and it is. I don't think they were getting overconfident. Maybe they were, but it was a huge win. It was a huge plus to be able to kill Edmonton's power play in this one goal game. And it's not that the power play didn't do well. It's just Allmark was amazing. He saved the game quite a few times. Eventually, Edmonton does pull Skinner for the empty net to get an extra attacker with about 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. And 25 seconds later, Leon Draisaitl scores. He's assisted by Bouchard and McDavid. It's his 31st of the season, and it is a tie game. If you had notification on the game for the game, you might have seen both Hyman and Draisaitl. The puck was like in the air while Allmark was down, and both Draisaitl and Hyman were near the net, and they both tried to whack at it. So it was kind of going back and forth on whose stick whacked the puck into it. But eventually, it was Draisaitl credited with that goal. So we're going to overtime. This is the second game between the two that's gone to overtime, and so both Edmonton and Boston games went to overtime. So if these two meet in the finals, it'd be pretty good finals, and it wouldn't be the first time that the two met. They met, I think it was when the Oilers won without Gretzky, was the year. Anyways, so overtime comes, and Boston feels pretty good that the McDry and Bush line of three don't get any shots, but when they're off, but Boston, whether they're on or off, couldn't muster up anything either. Eventually, the McDry Bush line of three are out again, and they get one shot, and then the one shot was all they needed. It's Draisaitl completing the 1-goal comeback, the late comeback, and it's the second goal of the game, 32nd of the season. He's once again assisted by the same two, Bouchard and McDavid. That was 2 minutes into overtime, game over, and you kind of felt bad for Allmark there. I'm a goalie, and I was talking about goalies with one of my friends at the restaurant that I go to, State Main, Spruce Grove. Hopefully, I get free advertising, but I'm not expecting it. That'd be cool. I don't get it much views, so I probably wouldn't anyways. But anyways, we were just talking about goaltending. That was the topic of our conversation when we were at commercial break, and so we kind of felt bad that Allmark played so well, and he had a near perfect game, but with just 2 minutes left in the regulation, he allows a goal, and he allows one just over 2 minutes into overtime. Both weren't entirely his fault. Again, every goalie should take some form of responsibility for every goal allowed, unless it's like an empty netter and they weren't on the ice, but you know what I mean. And both were really good goals. This one was more of a talent than a scrappy goal for Draisaitl, but doesn't matter how you get them as long as you get them. And so that's a game 2-1. Edmonton, Boston will split the series 1-1. Both teams getting a loser point, as it's called in the games they don't lose. And interestingly, as Jack Michaels kept mentioning throughout the game, this is now the 8th straight game between Edmonton and Boston where the team on the road won. So if these two teams meet in the playoffs and that trend continues, Edmonton's winning the cup, because I don't see Edmonton surpassing Boston in their rankings unless Boston keeps this OT loss grind going. But if every team wins on the road, then these two meet, Edmonton's winning because they play more games on the road. It'd be Game 7 win in Boston. But Boston's used to upsetting... No, I shouldn't say that. They're not used to upsetting Western Canadian teams. It only happened against Vancouver. I was trying to make a joke there, but it's not technically accurate. Anyways, back to the game. So final score, as you know, 2-1 for Edmonton in overtime. Shots were tied 26 shots were tied at 26. Hits, another heavy hitting game that involves Edmonton. Boston led in hitting 36-32, so a very minor difference. There was a major difference in terms of face-offs. Edmonton won 57.4% of the face-offs, which happens when 1, Edmonton has Leon Draisaitl, and 2, Boston's center depth isn't the most enviable center depth in the league, though full credit to the centers they have. They've stepped up. Power plays were 0 for 2 for both teams, so perfect penalty kill for both teams is the other way you can put it. Goaltending was super similar. Both Skinner and Ullmark played just as well, except Skinner had the slight edge. They both faced 26 shots, but Ullmark allowed 2 goals versus Skinner's 1. Both had an incredible game, and I don't want to take that away from them. It was a goaltending battle, and before Edmonton scored in the third period, I was about ready to say this was the most exciting 1-0 loss I've ever seen, because I like it when goalies do good. And I was about ready to say that, and then Draisaitl scored, and then Draisaitl scored again. So it was turned out to be a fun game. It was already for me because I'm a goalie and couldn't appreciate goaltending. I felt all the defensemen for both teams had a good game outside of some rough moments where goals were allowed. So your 3 stars for the Oilers. First star, you can guess who he is. It's Draisaitl, 2 goals, including the game-tying goal and the game winner, and he was 9 for 15 in the face-off circle. Second star, Stuart Skinner, 9.62 save percentage. Third star, I could choose Bush or McDavid for 2 assists, but I'm going to go with somebody who I think best represented Edmonton's strong defensive penalty kill today, and that, in my opinion, was Vinny Desharnais. 3 hits, 5 blocks. Analytics were but so was everyone's. So when it came to at least the physical side and killing penalties, that was Desharnais. He had a great game defensively too. So I love Desharnais, and I'm sure Skinner does, not only from their Vinny, Skinny, Winnie high five. You might have seen on social media. You'll know what I'm talking about. I can't really give you an example of how it looks because, 1, I don't want to get copyright striked early into my channel. 2, I need another person. But you probably know what I'm talking about. I know as a goalie, I always loved my defensive defenseman. And so it's fun to see the relationship. Anyways, that's it for tonight's game. Next is Columbus Blue Jackets, who have upset Edmonton. I know they did last year. I don't remember if they did this year. If they have, maybe I blocked it from my memory. I don't know. It's 1 a.m. Whatever. That is Thursday night at 5 p.m. Edmonton time, Mountain Standard Time. The best standard time, in my opinion. No, actually, it's fact. I think I read it in a textbook somewhere. Anyways, so again, fun game. I enjoyed it, and I enjoy pretty much every game, so that maybe doesn't mean much. I do have another video that has just been loading. I meant to have it earlier today, and for once it wasn't entirely my fault. It's more technology's fault. Maybe I should take some responsibility there. But I've mentioned before, my relationship with technology is not very good. It's Clipchamp is what I'm trying to use. Because I had to put 2 clips together for the first time, and I figured it out, and it's just been taking hours to upload. It's terrible, so I don't know if that'll go up when I wake up or before I go to bed. Hopefully before I go to bed, and hopefully that implies that I'm going to bed soon and not having to stay up till 3. I don't know. At least I don't have anything tomorrow, so there's that. Whatever. That's enough about me. Thank you very much for watching, sticking around this long, whether it was white noise or you actually appreciate my input. Either way, I appreciate that. Please leave a like if you think I've earned it. Leave your thoughts. I'm always happy to read them and see them. Also, subscribing and having notifications on is a huge help to me. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate every single one. It's a bit easier right now when there's 12 of you at the moment. 13. I think I had a new one. I don't know. Anyways, thank you, every single one of you. And I will see you when I see you.